you have gotten your section 1 done, your peacock and your scrolling fence, and it's on your design wall, hopefully. And now we're going to work on the hand-stitched butterfly blocks. Okay, so now we're going to look at picking fabrics for the butterflies. You have gathered fabrics, potential fabrics. I think I gathered about 30 different fabrics to play with, and to scale down and really choose which ones that you think will go best in your quilt. I recommend printing out a couple of these sheets just on regular paper and coloring in a few options for yourself. Once you've done that and you've colored in, you can color them all the same, or you can color 3 different butterflies, or do what I've done here. I've got 2 of the same ones on the side and 1 in the middle, however you want to work it. Once you've chosen your fabrics, you can then add them to your storyboard so that you'll have them and you'll know what you're using where. So once you've got that all printed out, then you can print these patterns onto freezer paper. If you don't have the printable, you can just put a piece of freezer paper over this and trace it paper side up. Make sure that when you're tracing the lines, you trace all the lines. I did it in Sharpie. Doesn't matter because we're not doing this on the shiny side. All of the dots where the intersections meet, and make sure that you put in your registration marks and label them. So in your pattern, I gave a little tip on how to turn your drawings into a quilt block, but for more information on that, you can visit Sue Rasmussen's show. Okay, so let's get to the piecing. Okay, so now you've got your pattern printed, and you'll notice that I've got these into quads, and each quad is labeled with a different letter. So you'll want to sew all of your A's together first, your B's, your C's, and your D's, and that'll just keep you organized. Plus, once we get all of those sewn together, then we're going to go ahead and sew these 2 halves together, these 2 halves together, and then ultimately we're going to sew the half together right here. Okay, so I got my pattern pieces cut out. Here's 2 of them right here, and pressed to my selected fabrics. What you're going to want to do is take a silver pen or a micron pen. This is the sewing line, so you could actually do a pencil. The pen that you use doesn't really matter. You just want to make sure you can see it. Label them underneath and put all of your registration marks and your intersection marks, and then you're going to hand stitch these together. So I've got one started. On these really deep S curves, it's okay to just pin half of the block, sew that part, and that will allow the fabric to move up a little bit better and easier when you go ahead and stitch the second part of the block. So when you pin, you're going to want to put your patterns together right sides facing, and the line that you drew will be on both sides. So when you pin it, you're going to pop a pin right in the line here and make sure it's coming out that corner on the other side. And just pin that. I've got about an 18-inch piece of thread on my needle with a knot at the end, and you're just going to start stitching them together. And I do about 3 or 4 stitches. Look to the other side to make sure that my needle is coming out on that line, which it is. And then you can just pull it through and take that pin out. And just sew all the way up to this last pin. Take all the pins out and then repin and continue to sew. And you'll have this great take-along project to go. When they're done, when each quad is done, you can just put them right back on your picture so that you know and you can stay organized and keep them all together. Then you're going to sew your quads together again, and then sew them into halves, and you'll have the 3 butterflies, and look back to your pattern to see how to stitch them together with the sashing. Join us next time, and we're going to make beadie blocks, and we'll join that to section 1. Thank you so much.